Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Pisces for May 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com. Check out my very extensive blog that has lots of resources to help support you during these ongoing transits, of which I will speak in this video. And you can also check out my vocational school, Shine Your Brilliance University, to see if I can help train you in a vocation that you love and bring your business online. So that's at anniehelpsyou.com. So what's going on in the month of May for Pisces and in general? We've got this sweet spot between this flow of retrogrades of personal planets that started in March that continue into the middle of December. So this is like a period of time where you can push a lot of things through. And I'm calling the theme of the month for Pisces major movements. So I'm going to touch on some highlights specific for Pisces, and then we'll talk about some of the top transits that are occurring and how to best use those energies. So we've got this sweet spot here in May also before the eclipses that happen in the summer. Of course, if you're down under, that will be the winter for you. But June, July, August, September will be eclipse time again. So this month of May, we've kind of got a calm before the storm. There will be lots of restlessness going on. Venus in Gemini, Venus moving through the third house for some of you, middle to late placements, the fourth house for you early degree placements, and then getting to the fourth house for the rest of you at some point. So this brings movement for the sake of itself. It can bring movement and restlessness to move, like literally to move houses. And this month is actually a really good time to move. It's one of the best months of the year, I think. And it will create quite a lot of restlessness. So taking trips, doing short distance travel, moving your body, moving your mind, studying, doing anything like that. Plus the fact that Venus is in the sign of Gemini is only going to make your energy more all over the place. So this is a very busy transit. Lots of communication, lots of interactions, your cars and devices being brought up with special focus. Also, that area of life is going to be focused on from the new moon. So you early degree placements will have that, and some of you middle degree placements will have that new moon on May 15th in your third house. The rest of the middle to late degree placements will have that new moon in the second house. Okay, so for those of you who have it in the third house, that's going to bring new openings for communication, for things with siblings, other relatives that aren't your parents or kids, especially, you know, like cousins and that kind of thing, aunts, uncles. So new opportunities there, planting seeds for better communication. It could mean you're getting a new car or a new transportation device. And I have to tell you that except for the middle of the month, which is where that new moon actually is, there's amazing energy around getting these new devices or this new transportation mechanism. The middle of the month could also work to do that, but I'll talk about what's going on there in more detail to just be aware of as you kind of dodge around some of these intense energies at the middle of the month that are also at this new moon time. In general, Pisces has been undergoing this expansion of their connection with others. Pisces energy loves to connect with other people, especially on the topics of idealism and romantic, connections that they think are important, artistic things, ways of the heart. So there has been this theme of this expansion with connecting with other people, either to do your work or to do your hobbies or just to enrich your life. There's another theme that's starting that for some of you, which will be staggered and coming later for the rest of you, where there's this expansion of intellect. So the drive to study and to learn, especially in ways that seem like they're scattered, that's going to be continuing for you. And especially this month, as we have so much energy in Gemini, which is one of the planets of learning. And then we have the full moon in Sag at the end of the month, which also is another placement for deep learning. You might find the drive to expand your education, formally or informally, to be very strong. And this is actually one of the best months of the year for committing to a longer term plan or to short term things. So you'll want your drive to expand your knowledge and then get the knowledge that you have out into the world is increasing. There's a lot of activity in the sector of your friendships and your connection with groups and teams. So you may find that your drive to connect with people of like mind to be much stronger at this time. It's a very social aspect combined with these Gemini placements make it very social. So if you're drawn to connect with people, even if it's online dating, this is a great month for that. And connecting with groups both through social media and in person are very much focused on this time. So we're seeing this theme of major movement. There's movement along a lot of different fronts. It's not really focused just in one area. There's this ongoing energy of, it's kind of like, we'll call it putting a bee in your bonnet. You know, it's just making you want to take action. So really, this is an amazing month for taking action. So anything that you feel drawn to do, this might be the time that you actually do it, and you'll probably have a lot of universal support for that. So I have a spiritual principle for you for this month based on what I see going on in your chart, and that is this yogic practice. Well, I'm basing it on this yogic practice called focus on adrishti. Okay, adrishti is like a focal point that you hone your energy in on as you do poses. They help to give you balance, they help to give you clarity, they help to give you an anchor through movement. So there's so much movement going on in your chart in small ways, in local ways, in bigger ways, in the short term, in the long term, inner, outer, that having a focal point, whether it's a daily meditation, whether it's a hobby, whether it's gardening, something that is this, that serves as this drishti, is going to help support you through this month and beyond. So those are the things most on my mind for Pisces. Now I want to go into my most notable aspects to mention for the month, the ways you can best use the energy, and again, placing May within this year, explaining more details about what to do and why. So the theme of the month for May 2018 for all signs is coming up for air. We have positioned nicely in the midst of this trend of personal planets being retrograde that started March 8th and runs through the middle of December. We've got this little period where we come up for air from the retrograde process. Also, we're coming up for air in this brief window between the eclipse cycles. So we have 3 eclipses in July and August, 2 in July, 1 in August. Starting in June, even towards the end of May, you might feel some of this. The eclipse changes, radical information coming in, news, trajectory shifts that could be unexpected or worked towards, but all of a sudden they come. So in this little pocket here in May, we're clear of the Mercury retrograde that preceded it. We're clear for a little while of the Mars retrograde that begins June 26th and runs through August 26th. The shadow period for Mars retrograde starts on May 11th. So May 4th through May 11th, we're completely clear of any personal planets retrograde. However, with every day that passes after May 11th, we're going to go deeper into that shadow period, and ambitions may tend to wane. That's one of the big factors of Mars retrograde, is that drive goes backwards. Okay, so people get more lazy, and you can sync your life with this transit. I have Aries rising, so I'm very much connected to this Mars transit because Mars is an Aries ruler, but this will affect everybody. I plan for this period of time now as a relaxing, taking a break. So I go gung-ho all in the time before it, and I plan things for the time after it. But this sweet little spot is amazing for vacations. It's amazing for rest. It's amazing for staycations. So you can use this wisely. You just have to plan for it accordingly. Okay, so if the lesson is, if you've got things you've got to push through anytime this year and you don't want to wait until December, try to do it in May. Okay, if you are a person with Mars retrograde in your chart, you might start to get zippy as everyone else starts to tone down. And if that's the case, good for you, but you will be in the minority. Something else going on in May that's ongoing from March into July is that Jupiter is in retrograde. So when Jupiter's in retrograde, this is a time to scale back efforts. And this is a beautiful combination of a lesson that Mars is also giving us. Because Mars, when it's in retrograde, one of the best ways to use it is to seek to do things in more efficient ways so that you do less work with greater outcomes. Jupiter retrograde tells us the same thing. So Jupiter, in its expanded forward motion, wants to make everything bigger and wider and more breadth, right? So when it's in retrograde, it looks for the places where you're spread too thin and it pulls them in, okay? So you have incentive to cut back, trim the fat, evaluate everything in your life to see where you're putting energy, where it's no longer useful and where it's no longer bringing energy back to you. Okay, so I'm going to go through my favorite aspects to watch for this month. You can get a written version of what I'm about to describe, as well as many more transits and details about them in my newsletter, my free newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. If you've already signed up for my newsletter and you're not getting newsletters, I send them regularly. So check in your spam, promotions, events, folder, social events folders, because sometimes mass emails go into those folders and you can transfer them from those folders into your inbox to give your email service the message that you want those emails. Okay, also something to know about what I'm about to describe is that I'm going to give you dates, but sometimes you feel these energies on days before or days after. So don't stick too heavily to the dates. Just use your intuition to tune into the flow to see when you're feeling something, because it could be before or after. Okay. On May 8th and then on May 23rd, the Sun in Taurus and then Mercury in Taurus is going to make an opposition to Jupiter in Scorpio. This can give a tendency to overdo. In some ways, you have permission to overdo this month because you really need to get as much done as you can while the energy is good for it. But do couple that with taking your vitamins, getting your rest, trying to balance that energy so you don't do too much. Also, with the things you're creating, make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin, because as the tides come in for the rest of the year, you don't want to overcommit. So just be very wary of overcommitting, overdoing, oversaying, and even overthinking. Okay, on May 11th, one of my favorite aspects of the month is the Sun in Taurus trine Pluto in Capricorn. This is an amazing aspect for getting things done. If you have to plan launch dates, anything like that, important things around this day are very powerfully supported. In the middle of the month, we have a series of aspects that are all piled on top of one another and are each intense in their own right. Okay, so look out for a lot of energy and events in the middle of the month. We've got the new moon in Taurus at 24 degrees of Taurus. That's time for your new moon wishes. You can check out my website. If you go to anniehelpsyou.com, click on blog, click on astrology. The maximizing new moon in Taurus power period is on there. Okay, so you want to maximize those wishes. You can see more about that on that blog. A very big event that's happening at this time is Uranus is moving into the sign of Taurus. This has been in the making for 7 years or so. It takes about 7 years for Uranus to move through a sign. The last time Uranus was in Taurus was between 1935 and 1942. I won't list some of the pretty crazy and intense world events that happened at that time, but most of you know what happened at that time. It was very transformative and eventful series of time. And so we are in for many changes, maybe not exactly the same kind of things, but a lot of change. Something that also happened that's lesser known during the periods of time of 1935 to 1942 that we are set for in the next coming 7 years was and now is a rapid increase in technological advancement, including going to things in outer space, space exploration, anything with technology, anything with forward movement and planning. Also massive developments in mathematics, physics, any of the sciences and maths, medicine. There were major and technology of any kind. So there was massive expansion during that time. So we are set for this massive expansion. And it could be that you are part of this process. So if you have really good ideas, this is a period of time where you might create something that could be life-changing for yourself and other people. So definitely follow those nudges, because intuitive insight for advancement will be very much expanded during this transit. Okay, so we've got between the 15th and 16th Mars in Aquarius also squaring Uranus in this new placement of Taurus. So there could be, well, we've experienced this, like I said, the energy of Uranus and Taurus before, but we've also experienced this aspect of Mars in squaring Uranus before. So between May 12th and May 19th is when we really feel this aspect. The first May 10th is where it really might start. The second pass is going to be between July 28th and August 6th of 2018. And then the third and final aspect of this will be September 17th through 22nd of 2018. Okay, so this can bring solar flares and their natural counterparts, which are volatility and aggression, also drastic and dramatic weather changes and events. Uranus and Taurus can also bring those things. So if you are a person, well, I mean, really nobody is safe from these, these dramatic weather and climate events. But if you are in a situation where you're more prone to these problems, then just take extra caution, be extra aware, and follow your intuition. If something is telling you not to be in a certain place at a certain time, to sell somewhere, to buy somewhere, etc. Because these energies with these dates I just outlined will be flared, and then also this will be a theme getting stronger for the next 7 years. My next favorite date of the month is May 18th. The first was the 11th. The 18th has Mercury in Taurus making a trine to Saturn in Capricorn. So this is another great day, time, or period of time to get things done. You'll have to dance around these other energies that I just talked about because they will be pretty intense and they may not be the best for trying to do important things, but you just have to tune into your intuition and follow the flow. Okay, so even though on May 18th, we will be in the Mars shadow period. If you're feeling froggy, jump. That's the lesson of this time. Anything that you feel really drawn to do in May, get it done because ambitions are likely to wane. The second to last notable event that I want to talk about is on May 25th, and this is Jupiter in Scorpio trining Neptune in Pisces. So this is a lineup of heavy hitter outer planets. When we have outer planets that connect, it always spans a longer, the span of influence is longer than these other planets that are quicker moving. So we first experienced this in December 2017, and this is the second aspect. So this aspect can bring optimism and generosity. It can also bring major spiritual breakthroughs. I really love this aspect for combining idealism and material success. So we could say the lesson of this transit would be that financial success and spirituality can coincide. Okay, this is a big lesson for many people here doing healing work, is thinking that they can't be materially cared for or have material ambitions while also being spiritual. And so this transit is helping us to blend those two. On May 29th, we have the full moon in Sagittarius. Mercury also enters Gemini, so this is amazing for travel, expansion, communication. This whole month is amazing for travel. And with the full moon in Sag and the planets in Gemini, people are going to want to move. They're going to be really restless. So this is one of my favorite months for travel. You do have to watch out, especially at the middle of the month, for some things. Also, if you're a traveler and you're going to be traveling during May, definitely go to my new travel website, Astrology Kissed Travel Bliss, and check out my monthly astrology travel reports because I go into more details about aspects that can be specifically related to travel. And also other inspiration and fun things there. Okay, so this last aspect on the 29th can bring anything with Sagittarius to drama or fruition. Okay, so publishing, teaching, learning, completing an education, getting ready to start an education because you've completed a certain phase in your life, writing, speaking, anything with religious or spiritual pursuits, churches, and like I said, travel. So many people will have a very blessed, wonderful travel opportunity, even if it's for short distance, could turn out to be for long distance around this period of time. So these are the things I have most on my mind for May 2018. I have a longer list of aspects to look out for when you sign up for my newsletter, AnnieHelpsYou.com. And I give them to you a month early. Also, if you'd like a written version of horoscopes, not necessarily talking about things that I talk about in your personal videos, then go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. That is my lifestyle website that is also kissed by astrology with these horoscopes. So I love to give you massive amounts of resources to work with these transits. Okay, so you've got the newsletter, Annie Helps You. You've got Astrology Kiss Travel Bliss for your travel reports and other travel information. You've got Cozy by Sweet Starlight for your horoscopes. And then also check out my blog on Mars retrograde and my video on Mars retrograde and my blog on how best to use the time when planets are in retrograde. And that's at anniehelpsyou.com. Okay, so if you would love to learn astrology with me, or you would love to be a coach as your profession, or you would love to bring your business online, check out my vocational school, Shine Your Brilliance University, at anniehelpsyou.com. If you'd love to have audio tracks that help to mitigate and enhance and utilize the transits of the time, my brilliant husband, B.R. Newman, creates these audio tracks, subliminal audio tracks that you can access for free on his website at iamhelios.com, IAMHELIOS.com. He also does readings. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.